Kaula Tantra functions as an advanced, high-risk psychological technology designed to systematically dismantle the human ego. We are trained to believe that moral purity is the goal of spiritual life, yet this rigid adherence to cleanliness traps the mind in a narrow cage of societal conditioning. The Kaula path seeks a different kind of liberation, one found by identifying the absolute divine within the terrifying, the mundane, and the forbidden. From birth, the human mind is programmed to categorize the world into strict binaries of sacred and profane. This artificial psychological matrix dictates what we are allowed to perceive as holy. To understand how these boundaries are dissolved, we must analyze the Kaula ontological framework, the four-stage protocol of simulated ego death, and the specific psychological mechanics of the forbidden 5 M's. Achieving cosmic freedom requires a deliberate, analytical destruction of the mind's baseline cognitive operating system. The structure of this system begins with its name. Kaula is derived from the Sanskrit word kala, which refers to a part or a specific portion of a larger whole. This concept aligns with the Shiva Sutras, which posit that the underlying nature of everything in existence is pure consciousness. In his commentaries on these texts, the mystic Osho describes all of existence as emerging from a shared cosmic origin. Think of your own physical form. Your organs and cells are distinct parts that found their beginning in a shared origin to make up one body. The Kaula perspective expands this to the entire universe, viewing all plants, animals, and elements as parts emerging from a single cosmic womb. If every distinct part of the universe shares this singular origin and functions within the same system, then the boundaries of your skin are arbitrary. In this framework, the entire physical universe is recognized as your own extended cosmic body. This diagram illustrates how forms share an identical essence. A clay pot and an elephant appear distinct, yet both are composed of the same clay. In Tantra, that clay is pure consciousness. Because the innermost self is identical, perceived differences are superficial mental constructs. Clinging to the boundary of the physical skin serves as the primary psychological barrier, preventing a mind from experiencing this expansive identity. To bridge the gap between theory and experience, the practitioner undergoes a process of self-deification, a structured internal ritual rather than external prayer. This schematic outlines the process. Stage 1 is purification. The adept cleanses their environment and draws a yantra. Stage 2 is mental dissolution. The practitioner visualizes their body as impure elements, unfit for the divine. Through disciplined breath control, the adept simulates their death, visualizing their life force exiting the skull and their body burning to an absolute zero-point void. Stage 3 is cosmic reconstruction. From the void, a bija mantra is introduced as the acoustic essence of the deity. Using this sound, the adept mentally reconstructs the universe from scratch, establishing a new reality centered on divine consciousness. Stage 4 is absolute identification. The practitioner declares, "I am this," establishing a direct link between their heart and the deity in the yantra. The ritual concludes as the practitioner inhales the scent of the flower, mentally drawing the deity's essence back into their body to unify worshiper and worshipped. This systematic simulation of death and rebirth forcefully erases the division between the individual ego and the cosmic whole. The most extreme application of these principles is Vamachara, the left-handed path. This framework is reserved for practitioners who can withstand intense psychological stress without losing their sanity. This chart lists the Panchamakara, or the 5 M's: wine, fish, meat, hallucinogenic grain, and sexual intercourse. These are elements that mainstream society categorizes as polluting or forbidden. By consuming these taboos in a ritualized context, the practitioner deliberately stresses their own non-dual perception, forcing the mind to find divinity in the impure. The logic here is clinical. As Sigmund Freud theorized, the total repression of base desires leads to deep-seated psychological neurosis. However, simple indulgence is also a failure state, as it turns the practitioner into an animal chained to their own addictions. To navigate between repression and indulgence, the system utilizes the mechanism of sublimation. In the practice of Maithuna, or sexual ritual, the practitioner must perceive their partner as the absolute manifestation of the divine, Shiva or Shakti. This thermodynamics diagram models the effect. Raw sexual energy, the blue fluid, is heated by the fire of non-dual divine love. It instantly sublimates into golden vapor, representing a state of cosmic oneness. When raw physical acts are successfully transmuted through this focus, the practitioner escapes the cycle of suffering by using the very things that typically cause it. Tantra describes these volatile energies of power and desire as a hungry tiger. If you can ride the tiger, it carries you to liberation. If you lose focus, you become its prey. The fatal error on this path is using spiritual terminology to rationalize simple intoxication or sexual gratification. The physicist Richard Feynman famously noted that the easiest person to fool is yourself. In the occult sciences, the ego is a master at justifying its own selfish impulses. Because of this capacity for self-deception, the Kaula protocol absolutely cannot be attempted in isolation. Looking at this risk matrix, the danger of psychological collapse increases exponentially with the depth of practice. The guru functions as a mandatory external auditor. A true guru has mapped their own blind spots, creating a dampening effect that stabilizes the path against self-delusion. Without this ruthless external oversight, a single misstep on the razor's edge leads to a psychological hell far more restrictive than standard conditioning. The ultimate objective of the Kaula Tantra framework is the achievement of radical non-discrimination. In this visual, we see the core realization. The pristine temple and the dark cremation ground are both temporary masks for the exact same underlying consciousness. Successfully internalizing this reality cures the mind of dualistic judgments, rendering societal conditioning irrelevant. The left-handed path operates as a rigorous intellectual and psychological system, using taboo elements as precise tools to force a permanent shift in perception. True cosmic integration is not found in a retreat from the world, but in the absolute, terrifying death of the ego on the razor's edge.